everybody, and welcome to Sayreport Jr. I am one of your hosts, Dale Decker.
And I'm the other host, Zach Sarowik.
I think that was our cleanest opening yet.
Yep, I was really tempted to, like, as soon as you said the name of the show, to kind of be like da 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 da, start cheering in the background as a crowd.
I'm gonna be honest, I was expecting it. I was expecting something to happen, and then when it didn't, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a clean opening. This is gonna be weird.
The mind games now. I'm in your head. When do I do it? I don't know.
It's just the constant trolling that we do. So welcome to the Say Report. It's not the Say Report. We're actually Say Report Jr. I've already said that. We're a podcast where two friends. We haven't introduced what the podcast actually is in so long.
Because really, we're not two strangers just meeting on the internet anymore.
No,
we're two
really
friends
not.
who have just never seen each other in real life.
Exactly. And who knows when we ever will.
Oh God, I don't know. I'm supposed to come home for Thanksgiving, and now it turns out Sejan might be moving like further west. So my parents are like, "No, well, we'll go out that way for the holidays." It's like, well, okay, I can only go one direction once a year. You can't do this to me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's crazy.
uh,
All right, well, so let's just get into it. How has your week been?
exhausting, stressful, anxiety-inducing. No, the school started, so I did like a 12-hour day on Monday for the first day of school, and then Tuesday was like shorter, but also way more harrowing because for some reason Tuesday is when everyone decided that they needed to buy their books. It's like, oh yeah, no, Monday, first day of school, I should get my. No, I'm gonna wait to go to class, and then just flood the school.
I feel like that's the way of the college student now.
I know,
because
I
just remember like first week of classes, I was not going anywhere near the student union because the line for the bookstore would just be insane.
Yeah.
And then it would suck because I tried to get my books like way early on, so I wouldn't have to deal with that. But there were always those books online that like weren't available, and I needed to get in the store. And it's like, yep, I'm waiting for a week.
Or it's like you're trying to figure out what the book even is, and the professor's not answering your emails, and the bookstore's like, well, they haven't talked to us, so I have no idea. You find out 3 weeks into the semester what they're actually supposed to be using. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the online. It's like volume 5, but they also have volume 5, but it's a different. It doesn't look the same.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always
It's what it is it's the worst version of Black Friday, because it's like Black Friday, everybody is there by choice. So no matter how angry they get that something is sold out, it's all their own fault. As opposed to like this like first day of school for a college where it's like you're here by necessity. Nobody wants to be here. Mm-hmm. You're spending money you don't want to spend. Everything is just a layer on top of a layer of just like, I don't want to be doing any of this.
Yeah. Do you ever get the people who like joke with you or whatever? It's like kind of a joke, but it's really just being passive aggressive. Where they're like, "Oh man, it's so expensive." Like I heard a guy like I've heard people say at GameStop and like other places I've worked where it's like, "Oh yeah, where'd you get a license to steal like that?" Or "Oh my God, how can you even expect people to pay this much?" It's like, we don't put the price on the thing, guys.
Oh my God, I know.
We have no control over that.
Being the middleman of retail is like the worst position because it's like you're the customer facing the entity, and yet you have no control whatsoever over any of the things that make them the most upset.
I never knew how to not retaliate, but I never knew how to respond. So like people at GameStop would be like, "That's so expensive. I can't believe it. Like I can't believe they're $60." I'd just be like, "Yeah, well, it's how it is." And that, or I would like,
them's the breaks.
Yeah, like, or I would be like, well, some games the price depends on the length of the game. Like, I don't know, guy. Just buy your. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. I don't care. It's your
money. You chose to walk into my store.
Yeah,
so
but
there you go.
But like, I wonder because it is a necessity for these college students.
Oh yeah,
If
oh yeah.
you
So that's
get
the
it
worst
even
part, where
like
it's like,
more.
yeah, oh, probably because you're looking at them and you're like, I don't know what to tell you. It's what the book they said they wanted, and I
Yeah.
can't change the price. And also, if you leave to go somewhere else, I can't promise anything that you're gonna get the right book. That's all
Yeah.
I can do for you.
Exactly.
Heck, half the time I can't even promise I'm selling you the right book the way that they all change their mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
would never.
that's been the bulk of
Oof.
my day. So I've been coming home and relaxing with my usual stuff, playing through some more of those SNES games to find some stuff I'd never played before. Found some platformer just called Smart Ball. And
Nice.
since you don't have the manuals, like which is where in the SNES era you got most of the story. Like I have no idea what's going on. Just this tiny little blue ball, and I'm bouncing around on top of like birds and squirrels and knocking them off of the screen, and I'm collecting points as I go. That's it. I don't know who this character is. I've never seen them before. I don't know what this world is. I don't know if this is a callback to something. Could be a licensed game for all I know. And then
That's
I'm sitting there like,
you
yeah,
should,
it's just like, I don't know what any of this is, but sure, whatever. Colorful platformer, I'm down.
I'm sure it is somewhere online. I'm
That,
sure that there's like a Scantron or whatever. Not
remarkably,
Scantron.
I think that you can find manuals way easier than you can find games, because you're right. You
Oh
just people
yeah.
scan them up, and there's just a PDF available
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
And then, of course, I'm
Um.
going to get the story, and it's going to be like, oh, this ball is the last of its kind, and
Yeah.
you're going through and killing birds in the war on something. It's like, whoa, hold on. This is
The
way more
the
intense
war
than
on
I.
shapes.
Yes. Because birds just hate shapes. That's the deal.
Exactly. Look at you. You thing.
And then
I'm made up
did
of
over the
multiple
weekend.
shapes. I'm a bird.
I am a polygonal creature. What are you? Uh, so then I also spent over the weekend, at least, recording more of the Nuzlocke run. I'm up to 48 parts right now.
Jeez. Oh
Just
my
and
god.
I'm officially like in the weeds because like this is where I died last time. I'm at Pokemon Tower with all the ghosts and everything. I got the 4 gym badges I had last time. I'm like literally at the part where I died before. So now I don't know where to go because like there's one city left. Okay, I'll go to that, and then after I do that, I don't know where to go after Saffron City. That's where like, literally the center of the map, and I've been everywhere else. Uh, so so I'm just like, well, this is where things get interesting, everybody. I did lose I caught a Ghastly on the first floor of the tower,
There you
and I
go.
lost him on the top of the tower.
Oh.
Don't know how that happened.
Jeez.
Uh,
Well,
but
isn't
I'm still going.
Ghost like super effective against
Well,
Ghost?
yes, Ghost is the
So
weirdest. Ghost is the craziest. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, especially in the early gen games before they started introducing like Dark and Fairy and all that other stuff. Which Dark is in Fire Red because that was when the generation they introduced it.
yeah,
But like it's like Ghost is super effective against Ghost, and Dark is super effective against Ghost, and Psychic is super
everything.
effective against this. But then not super effective against normal unless your normal type Pokemon also has another type, and then it might get hit with some of the moves, but not the others. And it's like literal moves that are all marked Ghost. Some of them hit, and some of them go, oh, this has no effect whatsoever. It's like, make up your mind, Pokemon. Like,
No, we refuse.
they're like, nope,
We will
sorry,
not.
Ghost. Sorry, man. Ghost. It's supernatural. There's no rules. We're just playing Calvin Ball with all this. Sorry.
Afraid of a ghost? Punch it.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I
And it's like,
shouldn't be quoting YouTube videos. I do not own.
I also like the logical difference between, okay, tackling something, which is a normal type move. If you tackle a ghost, it has no effect,
Yep.
presumably because you go right through it. But
Yeah.
then there are fighting moves, which are also physical attacks.
That get
but because
direct
they're
contact.
right, because they're not considered normal, they hit. It's like, well, hold on.
Well, I
So
guess
my
like
what is the difference between a tackle and a body slam? When really,
well,
what does it come down to?
I mean here, okay. So crazy logic that is just made up of nowhere and coming straight out of my ass. I guess as a fighting type Pokemon, you have trained more. Like this
You have
is getting
your
on.
atoms in order to strike ghosts.
You have worked yourself to the point where you just want to punch ghosts in the face. And you can do it like flawlessly. Whereas a normal type, they don't know anything. They know a sprinkle here and a sprinkle there. They haven't made their decision yet. All right, they're unclassified. They're undecided. All right, in this moment in time,
they're undeclared. Normal Pokemon are the undeclared students of the Pokemon world.
Thank you. I couldn't get to that.
That's why they can learn so many different types of moves because they don't know what they want.
Yes. They're the freshmen who were like, yeah, I'll go to college. Why the hell not? I'll spend this money that I don't have. So of course, a tackle will not hit a ghost, but a sucker punch to the face will. You know. Plus, it's a fist. It's a fist competing against a whole body attack.
I just picture like Hitmonlee sitting there with a Rattata, and Rattata's like, man, I don't know, I just can't hit it, man. And Hitmonlee's like, man, I punched everything. I can tell you exactly how to do this. That's apparently how Pokemon talk to each other when all you're hearing is their names. What they're really doing is like, man, I don't know.
Man, listen, it's really not that hard. I can't believe you can't get it through your head. Don't make fun of me. I want this to happen. I want this scene to happen.
Well, there was was it the short right before the first Pokemon movie, which I think is like the Pokemon Vacation short or whatever, where they actually subtitled them because there was no humans around.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there was like a 20-minute. So the Pokemon movie is only like 70 minutes long. So in order to make it fit in a movie theater time slot, they put a 20-minute short, which is essentially an episode of Pokemon at the beginning, which is just Pikachu and all the Pokemon go on a little vacation on an island without any of the humans. And so, of course, they were like, well, now no one knows what's going on. And so they just started subtitling them. And it was so weird to like read that. It's like, oh, they're having actual conversation.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, kind of.
It makes perfect sense, like between the same types. For some reason, like in my head, I was like, oh yeah, two Pikachus talking to each other. It makes sense that they know what they're saying. But to watch like Pikachu and Squirtle and Ivysaur talking to each other, it's the weirdest.
Well, no, it's not.
It's like watching a dog talk to a cat. I don't imagine a dog can talk to a cat.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. You don't think that
nope. That's why I could never get into
animal language
never made any sense to me.
All right. See, no. Animal language is like math, okay? It's a universal language. Maybe it gets broken up a little bit, but, I think generally a dog knows what a cat is saying. Just like a Pikachu knows what a Bulbasaur is saying. It's probably something along the lines of, I want some Pokeberries or whatever.
I mean, that's the other
and
thing.
Then it's
Every
also
time a dog looks at a cat is really just thinking, what do you want, you dopey idiot?
Yes,
like...
probably. And it's the Pokemon. It's probably, again, like, I don't know why we're training. Like, I don't know why we're fighting each other, guys. We should be fighting the humans.
Oh, sorry. What you're talking about is the literal plot to Pokemon the first movie now.
No.
Have you ever seen that? Like, oh my god.
I've seen parts of it. I've never sat down. I don't think I've ever sat down and watched it beginning to end.
I mean, like Mewtwo wants to start a Pokemon uprising. Like that's that.
Yeah,
my favorite part
of
that. But my favorite scene in that movie is when he gets his army of clones to fight their counterparts. And then there's like a 5 minutes of a super sad song over Pokemon sadly slapping each other while the humans look on and go, this is so wrong. Why are they fighting? And then you think, well, the other 90% of the time you're also making them fight, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. I guess because it's not playful. Like, I guess there's malicious intent from you.
There's malicious intent, and also it's like I've got all of these different types of clone Pokemon, and they're fighting each other. So it's like the worst Pokemon battle ever because it's Pikachu versus Pikachu. They're not weak or strong
Thunderbolt.
against each other. It's just
Thunderbolt.
boring. They're
Thunderbolt.
literally they're literally crying and slapping each other
I
because
know.
they're like, I want to shock this water one. The
Yeah.
water one will go by faster.
Yeah, so I've seen like that part before, or I've seen clips of that part before. Yeah, and then and of course I've seen the Ash dying scene,
Oh
and
God.
yeah, like I've seen
Yeah, that
those
whole
things.
that whole thing is set up by one random line at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
With like the Pokemon tears bringing him back. Like someone randomly is like, "Oh, someone once said that Pokemon tears can bring you back to life." That's it. It's throwaway line.
And
just so
and
that they
you
can...
don't think Pokemon can communicate with each
No,
other?
that was literally like Officer Jenny
They're
like
magic.
randomly just says that.
Yeah.
uh
Well, I don't know. I thought I had something, but I
So-
don't.
I was gonna say that was my week, but honestly, I haven't watched Pokemon the first movie in a while. I don't know where that came from. But what have you been?
I think it just naturally came up in the conversation. I don't think we need to question it.
Uh.
I think we've made a breakthrough saying that normal type Pokemon are the undeclared freshmen of the Pokemon world. And every other time,
man.
like they have a choice. Like one day
Uh.
Rattata's like, I'm gonna be a lightning.
I'm gonna be a lightning. I'm
I'm
gonna be a lightning type Pokemon.
I'm gonna be
Rattata, this is why
electric today.
Rattata, this is why no one wants to catch you. You say things like that. Go sit in the corner.
I would like to point out this is what happens when I am very tired. I just come up with ridiculous scenarios
Fine with
in
that.
made up worlds. So,
I actually went.
you know.
I actually caught a second Rattata in this Nuzlocke run because the first one died, and I was like, oh, but he was actually working for me.
That's illegal, Zach.
No. No, it's
I'm
not. No, I didn't catch
pretty
it in the same
sure-
area. I came across an area where there was literally nothing but
Yeah,
three
but
Pokemon I'd already caught. Duplicate Clause, it says that you don't have to catch the first Pokemon you come across in an area if you've already caught it. It doesn't say you can't just
okay.
pick up one of the random duplicates if you want it.
Huh. Okay.
It doesn't say in the rule book that the dog can't play basketball, okay?
It doesn't
I
say
know.
in the made up rule book that
Yeah.
doesn't exist.
It doesn't
It
say
doesn't
in the
say
two
on the
lines of
Wikipedia
rules,
page, all right, that I
in the
can't.
in the 2 lines of rules that are on the screen, it doesn't say I can't do that.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. That's fine. Did you name it like what was the name?
Oh, let's see.
of your...
The first one I named it was like Butthead because I was really
So
mad
did
when
you
I
name
caught
it
the first time.
Butthead too?
No, I forgot. The second one got a real name. I can't remember what it is. I want to say it was like Olive or something. I was also
Olive?
like,
Aw.
because to help me like come up with names, I was going down the alphabet. So like second Pokemon I caught was Rattata, so I needed a B name, so I named it Butthead.
Nice. Nice. That's awesome. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, my week has not. I haven't really done much. I worked. Yeah, that's it. That's really it. Oh, I just watched the first 2 episodes of Disenchanted or Disenchantment. Disenchanted?
It's Disenchantment, but for some reason I think the hashtag is Disenchanted, which is
Oh,
weird.
is it
I don't
really?
know. Yeah, because
so-
I was talking about it on Twitter the other day, and I realized that came up, and I was like, and I had to go look at it myself. But Disenchantment is the name of the show.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So I watched the first 2 episodes of that. I didn't hate it, but
I thought it was okay, but I needed an adjustment. Like I watched the first 4 episodes, and I was actually by the end of that, I was like, okay, I'm pretty down with this.
yeah.
But it is an adjustment of a different show.
It's very different, and I'm okay with it being very different than it should be different than Simpsons and Futurama. It should be, but it is also trying. I don't know. I think it's trying to hit on things that more serious things.
Right?
And I
They're
don't
trying.
know if it's hitting it correctly.
Yeah, they're trying to do like a Game of Thrones satire almost specifically. Like
Yeah.
pretty specifically,
Yeah.
they're trying to go for a Game of Thrones satire, and so like to have that darker craziness behind it of what Game of Thrones actually is, and then to kind of make jokes on that is a little awkward at times.
Yeah.
But like, I think by the 4th episode, they kind of I've started to figure out the balance of doing something a little bit more episodic while having their longer story, because I think that was part of the first two episodes are kind of two parts to just like a larger whole as they set the story up.
Yeah.
And so like they feel a little bit slower and like they're trying to figure their stuff out. But then like 3 and 4, and I think there's like 10 parts to this, so I haven't watched the rest, so I don't know how well that keeps up.
It's
but
10 episodes.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So I mean, like I'm gonna watch the rest of it and see how it goes. But yeah, it definitely feels like the first couple of episodes were like a two-parter setup thing more than anything else.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I like where I think it could be going. But I don't know if it's necessarily going in that direction. Like, I like the characters. I like Bean, I like Elfo, and I like Lucy, which I love that the little demon's name is Lucy.
Yeah,
that's the best part.
He's just randomly so like, I'm naked all the time. Yeah, now you have to live with that knowledge.
Yeah, no, you'll never see me. Yeah, exactly. And a friend of mine brought up that it's a little weird that Elfo just looks like Bart, but if we're gonna get into that, if that's his style, that's
I was gonna say
style.
That's just Matt Groening. Like, I mean, Bean also kind of looks like they stuck a wig on Fry.
Yeah, mixed with a Marge body in a sense. Like, I mean, I get it being being a distraction because especially if you know The Simpsons well and you know Futurama well, but after you're distracted by it, you got to like reel it back in and just be like, okay, that's just the style. It's gonna happen.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's what people do what they do, and they know what. Yeah, they know. Like there were plenty of I can't think of names right now, but there were plenty instances where I was like, that's just a Simpsons character made up to look medieval. That's just Barney. Like that's just like there was a skinny comic book guy. Like,
and then some of the characters, like there's the two, I don't even remember their names, but there's the new brother that's chasing them because the first one dies, and the younger brother they bring in, he's got the two followers
or whatever.
Yeah, but then he's got like the two knights that are following him that are like, well, these are the only two that were left, and they're kind of dopey. Like they're nowhere near as like they look like old Matt Groening sketches, like way old Matt Groening sketches, compared to everybody else. So it's almost like we're taking all of the kind of main character design stuff that we had from Futurama and then just kind of mixing in a lot of different like stuff from Matt Groening over the years into the background of this. So
I mean, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate to some people, I guess, but it's gonna happen. But I'm excited to see where it goes. I like the camaraderie between Bean, Elfo, and Lucy, even though each one has Bean doesn't really, but like Elfo and Lucy have ulterior motives.
They do, and at the same time, like I like that Lucy's ulterior motive. He's just saying all the time. He's like, "My job is just to make you do bad stuff.
Yeah.
So whatever that's gonna be, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
I've got no other thing going on."
Whatever the guy's name, Clive or whatever. Clive, it's fire. I know. I was there.
I was there.
I like that.
So it's got those like little bits and little hints, and I think as it goes on and they find their footing with that, I think that's gonna really be. Yeah.
I thought the animation is it feels more clean and yet somehow dirtier than like Simpsons, and I haven't watched Simpsons lately, just because I don't really dig the newer episodes. I still like them every now and then, but it's just it looked so computer generated. And that's how everything is now. But it just looked so, it was like too much in some spots. Like there's that first opening where it's like going through the castle or whatever. It's like a really close up and it spins around it. And I was like, whoa, this is
very clearly a CGI thing made to look 2D.
Yeah, so that was a little difficult to see. And then the depth is nice, though. The depth that it's able to have is very, very cool to me.
Yeah.
That's cool in any animation though for me. If you're able to create this nice depth of field, then you got my vote. And I will give you a chance. But yeah, it just there are definitely parts of the animation that are very distracting, and it's not even the part of that's just the same character design as Bart. You know?
No, it's just whatever they have to work with now
Yeah.
compared to like what they've been able to do with like whatever budgets and stuff they had before when studios were much bigger.
Yeah.
And like they weren't like relying on sending so much of it like into different third party like art houses and all that other stuff, because that's like the new standard too, is sending so much stuff off like out of like overseas to finish off animation and stuff like that. And so it's just like it changes the way everything's going to look just by the nature of not being everything in one building together in 1,000 people working on a show, as opposed to like 50. So
yeah, I mean, so we'll see where it goes. We finished Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so that was good. I think I might have talked about that. I don't think I did though. It sucks though, because now I just want the 6th season to happen, and it's not going to be happening for a while. And it makes me very upset.
Okay, so I'm not sure how much of an adjustment it's going to be for them to actually have to start making the 6th season.
Yeah.
I think they're already filming it, but like NBC was producing it before, so I don't know how much of that stuff was like, and they were picked up so quickly. I don't know how. It's not like they broke the whole set down and had to rebuild it.
Oh
and all
yeah,
that other stuff,
no. I'm not saying that. It's just it's still that way. I feel like they've had to have been recording by now, especially because of how quickly it was picked up. So there's no doubt in my mind that there's already episodes in the bag. It's just I want them to already have happened. Like I'm just ready for them. Because I was so used to like coming home and just being able to watch like 5 episodes, and now I can't do that anymore, and I have to watch Disenchantment.
Well, you're also losing out on Big Bang Theory now. Did you hear that news today?
I did hear that. I saw that. I mean, I'm not affected
in so long. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like if it's on, it's on. I know the characters enough. I know what they've been going through enough to be like, oh, Big Bang Theory's on. Let's see what the gang's doing this week, you know? But other than that, I mean...
It's so strange how that show has just, like, existed in the background, it feels like. Like, just, like, it's getting the numbers because it's on, but it's like, I can't imagine... It's weird because I feel like it's a show that people put on because they're going to watch what comes on next, or they were watching on what was before, and they just didn't bother changing the channel while it was on.
Yeah.
Like...
It's so weird too, is like I feel like the fans of Big Bang, I mean there are fans out there who have been watching from the beginning to end.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying like I feel like there are also people out there who really just grabbed onto those first couple of seasons, and that's where their references come from, and that's where their Sheldon love comes from. And it's like, okay, but do you watch the show anymore? Well, no, I haven't really kept up with it. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I fell off in like
that's weird. That's a little weird for me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like it's not like it's got like a Simpsons shift. It's not like the first half of the series was like really good, and the second half has been lagging. I can't imagine. I imagine it's been pretty consistent all the way through.
I mean, there are definitely episodes that I have watched, and I'm like, this is not good television. This is really upsetting to be watching right now, because like Sheldon doesn't deserve that at that moment. You're just being mean to Sheldon to be mean to Sheldon. It's like, what? And like the character of Sheldon has also become, I don't know,
a parody of itself at this point.
Yeah. I that being said, I love young Sheldon.
I've never seen an episode of it. Is it still going? Did that make it past the first season?
I think so. I kind of hope so. But it's really weird because Big Bang Theory, like I said, it's a thing. I enjoy episodes sometimes. There are earlier episodes that I like better than newer ones, and there are newer ones that I like, it's a standard show for me. I don't hate it. I don't love it. But Young Sheldon, I thought I was going to hate because I'm like, this is ridiculous that they're making a spin-off of The Big Bang Theory with Sheldon, and it's like not
it's
a
not
studio.
Jim Parsons?
And it's not Jim. Well,
Yeah.
I don't care about it not being. I love Jim Parsons, but it's not that. It's like it's not a studio show. It's like
Oh, that's right. It's a single camera.
it's a single yeah. It's yeah. So it's just like very strange, and I'm like, but the family was like, we're gonna give it a shot, and oh my god, it has so much more heart. Like so much is way funnier than The Big Bang Theory, and it's just very delightful to watch. And knowing that it's Sheldon, it's kind of upsetting knowing that The Big Bang Theory exists, because Sheldon as a kid, it's very disbelieving that he became, or unbelieving, I don't know, unbelievable that he became the Sheldon of Big Bang Theory. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah, no, I get that.
There are moments in Young Sheldon that it's just like, how did you become Big Bang Theory, you? And why?
How did you become Mr. Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
What happened to you?
What happened to you? I mean, yes. I mean, I understand that the character grew and developed as a person, but it just seems very weird where some of the things come from. And there's a lot of inconsistencies with his family that are very bothersome. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if you care about spoilers because you said you haven't seen it.
No, I don't. I'm just trying to remember. I'm trying to remember from the early seasons of Big Bang Theory from what I even remember about his family. And aside from his mother, I don't remember anything.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure his other family, like, he has a sister, a brother, obviously a father, but his sister, brother, and father never really came up until later. And if they were ever brought up, it was only like a one line or something. But
right.
it always felt like he made out his father to be like a monster in a way, but like a Sheldon monster. So like he was, your standard Texan father, I guess, if that's a thing, like he was hard on Sheldon, blah, blah, blah. But you watch Young Sheldon and the love that his father has for him, it is like beautiful, Like there's an episode where he's like to his brother Georgie, he's like, "No, we're bringing your brother to NASA." Like he's going, this is what he wants to do. This is what we're doing, and it's like you didn't need to put up with that, but he's your son and you love him, so you're going to. And it's just it's so inconsistent, and it's heartbreaking in moments, because it's like, your father clearly loves and cares about you, and you clearly love and care about him. Where did the disconnect happen?
Right.
Like, this doesn't make sense. And his sister and his brother, like, care for him too, in, sister and brother ways, but, like, they still pick on him. But if someone starts picking on Sheldon, they step up and take that person down.
Right. Very standard sitcom family affair, which, I mean, is also very realistic in many ways.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I get that, because honestly, if you, again, going from what I remember early on, if you had told me that his father wasn't even in the picture, I would have been like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I don't remember him talking about his father at all. He used to always just, I remember him talking about his mother all the time and joking about, in the joke about my mother had me tested.
Yeah.
Because they kept calling him crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't remember him ever mentioning his father.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, if you'd been like, oh, yeah, no, it was his mother and his siblings. It's like, okay, yeah, no, I get that. I could totally see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, there's just so many inconsistencies, and it's almost like when I watch Young Sheldon, I'm like, Big Bang Theory does not exist. This is an alternate world, and that is where I am living right now. Because there's no way Unless they somehow explain where the disconnect happens and something happens to young Sheldon that makes him Big Bang Sheldon.
Which also just sounds like it would just be like a heartbreaking way to end that series. It's like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
and
and
it's
then this is
like,
how his family fell apart. It's like,
yeah.
whoa, hold on.
I mean,
Whoa.
I could be remembering stuff wrong, but I don't think I am.
All right, but like
Yeah.
it just sounds like at some point there has to like he is a character in Big Bang Theory who seems like
Yeah.
separate. Like I mean, very purposely, he is separate from other people, and his family seems to be included in that.
Yeah,
So
and it's he's really not in young Sheldon is the crazy thing. You know? And he has a friend. Like he has friends as as the little young Sheldon. Like he has a best friend that is who is never mentioned in the Big Bang Theory, who helps him through a lot of those like Sheldon moments.
right,
It's like he's not really bullied all that. I mean, he is because he's pretty much an elementary school kid in a high school, but it's nothing too crazy, that it's like, oh my god, like it's just it's sometimes it's hard to watch remembering that Big Bang Theory is
right.
a thing. So yeah, but you should watch it. You should
Ah,
definitely watch
I
it.
should give it I'll give it a shot. I mean,
Especially because you don't remember those things that he's like the things that have been said about his extended family, then you
right.
should
So
definitely watch it.
none of that's gonna
It's not
distract me
gonna
at all.
affect you. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
I tell you, okay, I'm gonna, yeah, I'm gonna say this because I was thinking about this just now, and there's been a lot of discussion about this lately. It's almost the same problem I have with Kylo Ren, and follow me
Oh,
on this one.
okay.
Follow me on this one. So, I mean, there's a lot of discussion, especially with Last Jedi, since Last Jedi came out, and like there's new Star Wars books and stuff coming out about like whether like what the end of Kylo Ren's story should be, and about like whether like what sort of redemption he should have, or if he deserves it at all. All
Mhm.
this stuff that I'm sure Episode 9 will be all about. Um, and I realized as I was like having these discussions and stuff that there, I feel at least that there has not been enough explanation between with the two newest sequels about what the hell happened to Ben Solo in the first place. Because all they've really said was he was really powerful, and then at some point Snoke corrupted him, and then he turned to the dark side.
Yep.
And that is like literally it. And I realized the thing that like bothered me about that, because like in the original trilogy, it's not like you get a ton of Darth Vader's background. I mean, you
Yeah,
get it in
no.
prequels later that are a thing, but
Hey,
but
I am firm on saying that I like the
um,
prequels.
I need to rewatch them again. It has been so long since I've watched them, but I have softened on them in the last few years. I think they still have. I think there are still story problems there, but I don't hate. I've never hated them the same
I
way
mean,
that.
okay, so
Um.
so then I have something to say about the whole Kylo Ren like backstory thing.
Okay.
But continue.
No, but like, I just like the mysterious bad guy thing worked for Darth Vader because there was no Star Wars before that, and
Mhm.
so you didn't like. You were going on this journey of finding out who Darth Vader was, as along with Luke, and that was fine. My problem with Kylo Ren is that we at least, even if we're not given a ton of what his life was like growing up in that whatever 20 or 30 years, 20 to whatever years in between the Return of the Jedi and Force
Mhm.
Awakens, his family.
Yeah.
Like they're like Luke and Han and Leia are still the heroes, like are part of the heroes in the new trilogy. It's not like they somehow turned bad and then corrupted Kylo or
Yeah.
something. And so like if you look at, especially once you get the prequel trilogy and you realize that it's very easy to see how Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader, especially once you're
Well,
given that story, is that
that's what
his
I was gonna
upbringing.
say. Is that
Yeah,
it's
like his
probably
upbringing.
very similar to how Kylo Ren became Kylo
Right.
Ren.
But like I see Han and Leia and I go like how like these two, we know these two. We
Mhm.
know that even if like their marriage probably wasn't as great because that's just the kind of characters they are, and Han's like they allude to the fact that Han like ran off as soon as Ben was gone and all that. So maybe their family life wasn't great, but I also have to assume that they tried, they loved him.
Mm.
And then it's like, and then like when he was sent with Luke, like we know Luke, he's not like a terrible person, even if he was scared and did stuff that he was ashamed of. But it just seems like they so much of Kylo Ren, or so much of Ben Solo turning into Kylo Ren is like thrown away in the line of like I think at one point Leia says like we tried to help him, but Snoke had already corrupted him, and we were given nothing after that. And I think that's the thing that really throws me is that I have no idea what I want for his character at the end because I have no idea how it started. I can't I sit there and I try to picture it. It's like I don't know what it was
Hmm.
that turned him and what was it that made him go like like in Force Awakens, he's like obsessed with Darth Vader. Did no one sit him down and explain to him what either what happened to Anakin Skywalker or how he ended his life saving people? Like how was it that he became so obsessed with a very specific part of Darth Vader's life without knowing or caring about the rest of it?
Um,
Like
I mean, it could be a number of things. Like, I always think, yeah, because I thought that too. Like, how does he not? And maybe he does know, but how does he not like know that sacrifice and everything, and how Anakin, yeah, and like the life and like, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I'm trying to say the words that I'm trying to like figure out what I want to say, but yes, you're right. So I think maybe there could be brainwashing involved from Snoke, and he like somehow was able to erase that stuff.
I mean maybe like I mean
Like he just
we know
like
that he
selective
connected.
details,
Right.
you
We know
know?
that he had that power to connect him and Rey in Last
Exactly.
Jedi. Like I get that. I think it's just the fact that like what bugs me is they didn't just tell us something. Like I don't want the whole thing. I don't need to know like every detail of what happened. I just wish there was a little bit more so that
No,
I
I get
knew
you.
what I
Yeah.
wanted for him because like so much of the conversation around him right now is like has he done too much to really get that same redemption arc that Anakin and Darth Vader kind of did? And even when you think about it, Darth Vader's redemption arc really isn't that
Big
grand
or
aside
good.
from he
Yeah,
kills
no.
the Emperor and then dies, and
Yeah.
then it's his funeral. Like, and clearly that story kind of went by the wayside. That's kind of what we learned in Force Awakens, that so much of that became myth that people don't even know if it's true
Mhm.
anymore. And so it's like,
Yeah, it's not like I mean, one can argue that Anakin fully becomes Darth Vader when Padme dies. Like there's nothing that like like did Kylo Ren have a love interest or something that was the ultimate end, that actually pushed him over,
right, or not
or
even that, or
or
was
not
it even
like,
or
yeah.
was it even that like he has so much power and like they talk about how powerful it was and they're so scared of that power. Did he try to do something that went horribly wrong, maybe?
Yeah,
And then
like he
that's
tried to
what made
help
people
someone
right. He
and
tried to help someone and then that went horribly wrong and then that's why they sent him to Luke and that's
mm.
why they started to worry about him and suddenly suddenly he starts to feel like his family is scared of him and that's when
So,
Snoke can like totally get him because he's in this vulnerable spot. Like I just want to know where
but I
that
think I think being cast aside by your parents and just be like, "Hey, go with your uncle.
I mean,
We've kind of given up on you." I think that
I
is
can
is
I can get
kind of a detrimental thing
no,
for.
and I can get that, but he's never. I mean, has he? Maybe I'm forgetting lines, but has he ever said that? Like, did he ever say I felt cast aside by, or like did or saying that like you don't know what it's like to feel so powerful and yet no one loves you? Like, even if he had just said that, I would have been like, boom, there it is.
Damn,
That's why he turned.
like, come
But
on,
it's
Zach. Now I
so
need
much
to watch Star
I'm
Wars
sorry.
again.
I know. It's just the fact that like it just
Why?
seems like so much. It seems like so much of the like fandom, the like raging fandom around Kylo Ren sometimes is like there's a lot of people that I think are projecting a lot of stuff on him because he's acted very well. Adam
Mm,
Driver is just an excellent actor, and so much of his character seems to be based, or so much of like the character and story, which I mean, Star Wars does this all the time, but so much of his character is just based on like, oh, you know this character. It's the
yeah.
guy that became bad and he has good in him, so we have to save him. Like it's the same way that like Han Solo is like when he's introduced in New Hope is like, oh, you know this guy. He's he's a rogue, but he's attractive and you'll like him and he'll come back and save the day.
Yeah.
Like I just wish there was a little bit more like specifically in the story
I
as opposed to like what it seems like is the audience projecting
mm,
onto and what they want the audience to project on him. Like it's
yeah.
almost like they don't want to tell you the story. They want you to just feel it. And it's like, well, tell me a little bit. Just tell me a little bit so that I feel like comfortable
I think yeah,
with
I
that
think
character.
they're I get what you're saying. So I think they are trying to rely on the subtext a little too much. Where like I like subtext in a movie because it gives that, you know, interpretation side to it. It's like, oh, like I feel like I probably got that whole he was cast aside by his parents thing from Leia. Like it's in her speech about it too, in a way. It's like we
Right.
sent him to Luke because we didn't know what to do, blah blah blah. But now, like I truly feel like I have to watch Force Awakens again to see and pick up on if there's ever like a subtle throwaway line that shouldn't be a throwaway line, but probably is. And damn it, Zach. Like, why? Why you gotta do that? Ugh! Why
Because
you
I'm an
gotta bring
English
up
major,
stuff?
and these are the things I do.
I
This is how I
know.
watch things.
I know. It sucks. Yeah, I don't know. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I freaking love Kylo Ren as a character. And, like, I need to sneeze. I'm so sorry. I passed. Yeah, no, I really like him and I am excited to see what happens. And I don't have any like wants or desires that like of where I want his story to go. I'm just there for the ride, you know?
Yeah, yeah. The only thing, like the thing that, and I think the reason that it also concerns me a little bit is that and again, let me also say this. I will be probably perfectly happy with whatever ending they give him
Yeah.
because I also like the character and I like the acting and I like the movies. Like, fine. But my concern is that like
It
it's coming very close to just retelling Darth Vader's story at this
yeah.
point.
Yep.
And so like I don't think Kylo Ren will be dead at the end of this the way that Darth Vader was.
No.
I think that that's going to be the big difference. And like if I have any hope to that at all, I just want them to be like Darth Vader and Anakin died with his redemption
Mhm.
and it changed nothing. Like we're still warring in the galaxy and it turned you bad at some point and all that stuff. So like if he's alive at the end, I also want them to be like, okay, you're alive and you have a chance, but that chance comes with like dealing with the shit you did.
Yeah.
Like
I
that's what I think. Like that's the kind of ending I want, and I think would be most satisfying for me. And I realize that a lot of people probably think that that's like a weirdly non, like it's going to be like a big grand emotional thing, and I think that that's what people want out of this story because it's a big grand emotional story. And the ending I want is like not that at all.
Yeah, but your ending is better than it just being like fights, boom, boom, boom,
Right?
you're
Like
dead. You know, like it's better. It has more depth to it. Like, and I guess I lied. I do have a hope that of where his story goes, because ever since I learned about them, I've wanted it to happen in the movies. I mean, I'm sure it happens in the shows and stuff, but I don't watch those. But Gray Jedi, that concept is something that I love. And do you know what Gray Jedi are? You have to know what Gray Jedi
I do
are.
not actually.
Oh, okay. So Gray Jedi are basically those who walk the line between the light side and the dark side. So they have that balance in them. I wish I could recite the Gray Jedi code right now, but I can't. I'm trying to learn it, but I'm really not. But that it's like, yeah, there is no. Part of it is there is no pain without passion. There is no, like, I don't remember, courage without something. I don't
Fear or
know,
anything like
fear
that.
or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. There is no light without dark. It's that concept of, yeah, these things exist in the world, and the only way, I mean, truly what it should be, you need to work together in order for it to be this perfect balance.
Right, because balance doesn't need to be one versus the other. It can be
Exactly.
working together, which is a whole other, yeah.
Exactly. So like I said, as soon as I learned what gray Jedi were, it is a concept that I latched onto and like dug my claws into, and I was like, I need to know if like where gray Jedi come up, and it's mainly in books. I think they have been seen in the shows and the cartoons and whatnot, and in comics and video games maybe, but I so badly. And the first time I watched Star Wars, I think episode 3. Nope, not episode 3. I think episode 6. It was. Is that the one where Luke is dressed in all black?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
sweet.
It is.
Good for me for remembering stuff. So episode 6, yeah. So I had learned about Grey Jedi before watching that one. And I was like, oh my god, Luke is all in black. This might be Grey Jedi time.
And honestly, I mean, in Last Jedi, Luke is kind of almost in that place towards the end of it.
And he's also wearing neutral colors, which is basically like a Grey Jedi. Grey Jedi are in the gray color scheme. They combine dark and light colors. And that is his costume design. That whole movie. Except maybe for the end. You know?
To which he's back to more dark colors. The black
exactly.
colors, yeah.
Because he's not wholly acting in the light. You know? He's kind of being a dick. So it's just, I've always thought of Luke as a Grey Jedi. But they just don't want to say that yet. But I so badly want Rey and Kylo to be Grey Jedis.
Yeah,
because
I would have no problem with that idea.
It would be the coolest, and you've already seen those moments of balance in both of them. You have those moments, those like dark moments of Rey, and it's like, oh shit, like she could turn to the dark side if she really wanted to. She could. 100%.
Right.
And Kylo Ren has those moments of light in him too, and arguably he had to kill Leia in order to. He was like, I have something in me that is still good. I need to try and kill it, and that is my
that's
mother.
What that always was. Like that was Snoke. That was Snoke testing him and making him do stuff because he was supposed to do Han, and then you know, which is why Han helps him do that because he thinks it's the thing he needs, and then it's now I have to do it.
Oh,
to
you
Leia,
believe that too?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
he
thank
definitely
God.
Helped him. If he didn't help him push the button on that lightsaber, he did it himself.
Oh, totally. Okay.
And Han shot first on that one.
Thank you, because I said that like I was talking with like huge Star Wars fans, and I'm like, yeah, Han totally like helped Kylo in that moment. And they were like, what? And I was like,
because I think that's going to be part of like the big speech, the big monologue in episode 9 that's going to be between Rey and, you know, Kylo yelling at each other as they fight or something. She's going to say something about killing Han, and he's going to be like, I didn't do it. And that's going to be like the big emotional moment to that.
People are going to shit their pants.
Right. Where they're going to be like, where he's going to start talking about how he felt weak and how he felt sad and he couldn't kill his own father. And that's going to be the thing that breaks him down. I wholly believe.
It's all in his reaction. It's all in Kylo Ren's reaction. And Han touching his face. It's like he totally was like, I need to help my son. He's still my son.
Right.
And I've had my journey. This might be the right thing to do right now.
Yeah, because in the same way, it's like, I'm going to give him what he thinks he needs, but if I do it myself, he didn't do it.
Exactly.
And he will always have that to deal with, that he didn't do it, which means that he can't hate himself for doing the thing he didn't do.
Yep.
Like, it's a perfectly...
But he can also hate himself because he didn't do it. Like,
because he didn't stop it.
Exactly.
Right?
And it again gives that balance of light, he didn't do it, and dark, like, he still was holding the thing. He still had the idea of it. He still was, like, about to do it, you know? It has that balance still there. Like, he still killed his father. Whether or not he was an accessory.
Right. It's either he killed him by directly or he killed him indirectly.
Yeah.
And there's no other way around that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's I have been saying that since I saw episode 7. And it's like I so badly want that to be the case. I don't have big hopes because I don't think there are people in the world who love Grey Jedi as much as I do.
Here's the thing.
But yeah.
If J.J. Abrams coming back, I'm assuming doing his own script now. I'm sure they didn't stick with Colin Trevorrow's, or he's at least doctoring it. With J.J. Abrams coming back and setting that up in episode 7 and now being allowed to be there and, be himself, which is to tie up every loose end. It's like to have we'll at least have a definitive idea of what happened in that moment by the end of episode 9, because J.J. Abrams will not let that go by, because if he didn't do it, he will definitely make sure he didn't do it.
Exactly. I mean, there's a reason why we don't see
their hands.
Their hands. Like, it's a freaking Schrödinger's lightsaber right now, guys. All right? It's Schrödinger's lightsaber. Live with it.
Just like that, we learned the name of the episode.
Yay! I love when that happens.
The perfect cap off, because I think that's gonna do it for us this week. This has been Say Report Jr. Oh God, I almost did it again This has been Say Report Jr., a podcast you should be listening to, subscribe to, and downloading every week.
Do it.
You can follow us on YouTube and Twitter at Say Report Jr. You can follow us individually. I am at Zawiski.
And I am at Dale's Brain. And everything Zach said. Yeah, go follow us everywhere that we are followable. And I think the only thing left to say is, now let's all go get ice cream.
Yay.
Do you want to say take it away, Liz? Because we didn't last week.
Take it away, Liz.
Thank you for listening to The Say Report with your hosts Dale Decker and Zach Sarowick. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.
Erwin Rudolph Joseph Alexander Schrödinger. That's a name. Oh, there's a second way to spell it too. Wikipedia, what are you doing? Okay.